Hi folks, we'll have a go at making up a landscape, maybe a bit of water in it, some trees, but for this I've really brightened my palette. I've gone from the sublime to the ridiculous, from 3 colours to 9. I've got cadmium yellow deep, cadmium yellow pale, some yellow ochre, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, ultramarine, cerulean blue, viridian and emerald green. Apart from the alizarin, they are all student colours. Now, somebody said that my oil paintings are boring, no focal point. I quite agree to some extent, but when I'm doing a sort of a sky study, that is a focal point, as has been pointed out. So I apologise if my oil paintings are a bit boring, but if it gets you into another way of painting, then I've done my job. But I enjoy doing them as a break from watercolours. There's far more scope for improvising really with oil paints, because you can change them very quickly. Shut up. So we'll start with the sky. We'll just work down. I've got my apron on. You need aprons, and I've got some alkyd walnut oil mixed with walnut oil. So I'm going to go in a bit of white, all Winton colours. So we're putting a bit of. Let's see what we can get here. Plenty. I've primed the paper with some PVA glue mixed in with some acrylic burnt sienna, just to give a warm glow. I'm going to lean a bit, I'm going to try to lean a bit on Arthur Madison style, or highly impressionist style of, this is a bit of that. But it's not pointillist style, but smaller brush strokes. Once you've got your initial colour on, so let's have a bit of distance there. So let's put in a bit of. Oh, that's a bit obvious, isn't it? Okay, this is just underpainted, so my horizon's going to be about there. And then we'll have a bit of lemon yellow, or light. Just having fun at the moment, just feeling my way. It's nice bright. Bit of foreground. And we'll put some dark on that horizon. Now I will include some focal points in this. Just put it on. The walnut oil is a sort of a non-toxic medium that gives you a bit of flow. And hopefully it will dry quicker than, well, it'll dry quicker, especially with a bit of the alkyd resin plonked in. Okay, so that's a start. Let's look at my screen, see what I'm doing here. Okay, and put in some nice sky colour in the Okay, this is just an impression. All my oil paints that I demonstrate are impressions. I can't do much more in the time that I allow myself. We can put an island in. It's just a typical watercolour, really. Right, let's get in some nice clouds. So a bit of cerulean, bit of alizarin, bit of white, bit of oil. Just alizarin here and cerulean, alizarin, bit of white. Just, I can't see that corner because it's shining in the light. Soften that. Now, afterwards start putting bits of colour in. Using a big brush because I don't want to spend too much time doing it. So a bit of using a bit of emerald, bit of blue, bit of cerulean, bit of white, bit of oil, different greens, blue greens, little bits of light white. Now the blues hopefully will recede. There's no right and wrong way to do all this. Get some bit of light. Ah, brush has slipped out of my hand. Bit of white. I'm going to spend too long on each bit. It's as the paint dries or it goes a bit tacky, then you can start working on it a bit more. And it's into bits like this that you can put in some light buildings, complementary colours. So I've changed my mind about that foreground there. Oh, that horizon ground. Plenty of oil. A bit of orange. Orange, light, yellow and red. Right, let's go in with some alizarin and cerulean. There's some dark notes in here. I mean, this sort of thing you can really go to town on, work on it over the days as it dries. Right, now let's get some cobalt blue's a good one. I've got some cobalt blue, but I don't use it very much. Just want to get. Let's try some. It's a bit slidey. Just lighten that horizon there. Right, now some red and some ultramarine, just to put some shadow in, a bit of oil, a bit of shadow in. Okay, well that's sort of, let's just sign up a little bit. And we'll go in with some cerulean and some light red, or some cadmium red. Some darks. It's a little bit bright, that blue, that cerulean. Right, get that orange. And for these fields, hedgerows, just got to find a shorthand way of sort of expressing it. Loads of oil. It's all tiny little dabs. Reds against greens, mauves against yellows. And just put some darks in. Right, let's go back to the sky now. But because it's nice and wet, it's going to take quite a time to do all this light, cloudy stuff. Don't want to make the dots too small. Just blend it all, see how we go. See, that's sort of drying a bit there. cerulean is quite a weak colour. So some shadowing. And there you can merge this when you've got the actual paint on. See, there's absolutely no limit to oil painting. It's just wonderfully versatile. I'm going to change my brush. I'm going to go to a small. I'm going to go to this brush here. I think they call this a Fitch. So it's a flat round. No. And that's got a loose ferrule. So I've just mixed up an already ready pinky colour for the horizon. Let's soften everything there. Over that. So as this builds up, probably over a couple of days, it will have it'll have lots of peaks and troughs that you can pick up your dry brush on. At the moment it's dripping with oil, and if you get fed up with it, you can always cook with it. Now, the cerulean is a very good colour used on the horizon. There's just a bit of the sun. Just poking through. It's like a greeny blue, and it sort of shows up on the low down on the horizon. We go from a richer blue to this sort of green blue. You can mix it with a bit of emerald green or viridian, but you don't want it too saturated with colour. No. We can show some of that through there. Some darker. For blue, for the mauve colours, you can use cobalt violet. You can get a student quality, but they're not very saturated. I used to use it, but it's okay. But it's very weak. This is easier to do with acrylic because it dries so much quicker. Oops. Soften all around there, I think. Sort of a Lake District type of. And another thing about using student quality is that when you pack up for the session, and if you have to throw it away, you haven't wasted much money. A bit of paint maybe, but. Right, let's go back to some of that cerulean. I'll mix a bit of cerulean with the ultramarine, I think. Might have to do this in a couple of parts. I can't see what's over there because of the light. But okay, now some nice lights. Cadmium yellow, light red. They're nice, rich. We don't want white. Put more red in there, I think. So I'm trying to get a lot of colour in the sky, a little bitty colour. That's just a bit too yellow. I'm going to make a bit more, bit redder. So you get to a stage where you start to see things developing, cloud formations. And I'm not copying anything. I'm just making up as I go along, changing it, realising that this isn't going to be as quick as I'd hoped, and I might have to. If it's worth it, I'll do it in 2 parts. Now let's get some darker sort of cloud colour over the top. It doesn't take that long. It would if you were using paint straight out of the tube, but using a lot of oil, you can build up washes of colours which can be very, very lovely. Well, it does when Arthur Madison does it. But even he uses larger strokes these days because it does take a time. Remember, these clouds are going further away, so they're smaller. Good colour is Viridian and alizarin, because they're nice dark, cool. You can go cool or you can go warm. Where's he gone? Let's add a bit more blue in that. Now I've made another range degree of difficulty by using that Viridian, probably better in the foreground or middle distance rather than the sky, but whatever works. If it starts to come together, then carry on with it. Get this so I know my camera's not quite straight, it's saying that way. I'm just going to move my easel round at the back. I've got it propped up on a brick here, so just so that I can get rid of that light. I might be able to get you more square on. Oh no, I can't see anything now. It's not better, is it? It's worse for me because I can't see the window above me head is shining. Oh, that's a bit better. Right, let's carry on then. No, it's no good. It's no good. It's a lovely north-facing light, but difficult to. Well, I'm going to leave it like that. I can actually see the edge of that. See here, see the colours. So let's carry on here. Right, I'm just trying to get a darker colour now with maybe cerulean, just a mixture. Plenty of oil though. For that's a good colour. What we've got now is a streaky sky. We really want a big cloud. Oh, that's a little bit better. just keep going at it until you're happy with it. Long way to go on this, so I'm going to leave this alone a minute and go back on the landscape. There's some bits of red. Edward Seago did these sort of skies too, but I wouldn't say he did them as a pointillist as this, but you can see what we're trying to do. I'm trying to blend it, but with lots of different colours. But something's happening here. Let's get some bit of light coming through under there. A little bit of modelling there. I think that blue is not, or that colour is not quite right there. Ceruleum is a good colour on its own. Let's just move that cloud over there a little bit. Well, just want to make that a bit darker on that shadow under that cloud there. Softened. A little bit of colour in there. Quite like that bit here. So back to the cerulean and alizarin. Get some darker bits. You notice there's no black in this one. Trying to get a little bit of a threatening sky. Too dark. So let's just take out some of that to soften it a bit. Alright, well, let's go back onto the landscape and put some brights in now. wanted to show these fields or fields or something, but I don't want anything that shouts out, oh, this is a tree, this is a hedge. And with the oil you can keep on working over it. Well, my brush is through here now. Right, let's have some bit of red. Now we can put in some darker notes maybe. Just a few dark bits. Could be Dartmoor, could be anywhere. It's a painting or an attempt at a painting that's a bit different to what you normally do, but as you can see it takes a bit of time. Now I want to get some lighter blues in there. I want that merging a little bit. Because this is distance, but I want it to merge into that light. There's a little bit of emerald green here with a bit of cerulean. I can't show you my palette, but I might be able to at the end, but I need a cameraman but not a camera. Bit of reddy orange. Oh, let's just risk a bit of white. There's a bit of oil in that. It's a bit drier to put sort of detail in. Okay, well, sort of buildings. But I'm not quite so happy with. So that's it's too. It's not. Well, it's bitty, but it's not bitty enough. That's. No. Not enough light in there, I've decided. Trying to show a landscape here without naming it, you know, like, I don't want any ochre, I'm not. Oh. So there needs something in there. That's just the emerald green. It's a lovely, lovely colour. Right, now I will put some darks in now, so ultramarine and alizarin, a bit of cad red. Bits of red. Okay, well let's go on to a bit of water now. Clean the brush in the oil. I'm not using any solvent to clean the brushes. Okay, so let's get in some nice, a lot of white, a bit of blue. No, just plonk on some oil and paint, and just work away at it. think I'll call this part 1 because it's going to take a lot longer than I'd hoped. I was going to do a rough impressionist one with broad strokes, but it didn't work out, did it? See if I get some broader strokes here. So just to mix it all up, and I'm a great believer if it looks right, it is right. We're trying to create a painting rather than a copy of anything photographic. You know what I'm like about photographic art. Well, it's okay, but you're very clever. It's a valid form of art, of course. Not what but the impressionists work from photographs, and why not? Well, maybe I could just put a river in, just an inlet in there, and do the rest as foreground. Oh, that's a good idea, isn't it? Yeah, let's do that. Let's get another brush. Let's have a bit of nice foreground here. So we might be able to get some sort of finishing. Right, let's get a bit of dark green here. So Viridian, ultramarine, yellow. There was some red in there, that's just 2. A little rough ground. Bit easier, isn't it, than what we were doing. Well, this time's time consuming. Right, yellow, blue, blue, red. Yeah, that's all right. And I can go back with lighter water as and when. So blue, red, yellow. So still lots of colours and dabs of colour, but stronger. Plenty of reds in this because it's a foreground. So whenever you've got green, you want red to complement. What I might do is just to take that over to there. Right, nearly got that there. But I want the shadow in. Dark, dark, dark. Happy now, getting somewhere.